Grenke Open, you won the tournament. It was the biggest tournament in terms of participants. What do you do to prepare?
I kind of strongly believe that if you understand positions well and structures well and where pieces belong and where they, are active and so on, that's kind of enough to understand the differences if you get a new starting position. So
When are you going to change your Instagram profile?
now I'm gonna do that quite soon. I guess it's long overdue.
Do you feel that there is a kind of intimidation when they play against Carlsen?
I feel like the more you feel that you have chances against him or that you can beat him if things go your way, that kind of mystery kind of resolves.
How do you feel taking all the guidance from Peter Lego? How is he as a coach?
If you have someone that has done it all and been a top 10 player for, 10 years, then of course that helps a lot.
So let's start with the Grenke Open. You won the tournament. It was the biggest tournament in terms of participants. How was your overall experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a special place for me. I won there the Open tournament in 2018 as a 13-year-old kid, which in a way started my professional chess career. So for me, coming back to Karlsruhe at that hall and playing in that tournament in this atmosphere is always something special. And of course, they even increased the amount of participants greatly. So it's getting even more, and winning there again after quite a long time. It really felt amazing.
How nervous were you going into the final day? It was very close among the top contenders.
Not too much, I have to say, simply because there's not much you can do, and at the end of the day I did feel like I was playing pretty good chess, so I knew that as long as I keep that up and I manage to keep my nerves and everything, things should go well.
And you have completely mastered the art of freestyle chess. I feel back to back. You started the win with Weisenhaus the last year when the freestyle really got into the larger stage. You started with a win in Weisenhaus, then recently in freestyle world championship you also finished 4th. I mean, you were one of the top freestyle chess players at the moment. So what do you do to prepare? Because for us, for the Indians, it is not still our cup of tea, as you have already seen. So what is the preparation tips you would like to give?
I never prepared for freestyle, so I'm sorry, but I cannot really give any tips on that. I kind of strongly believe that if you are a good chess player, you're also a good freestyle chess player. So if you understand positions well and structures well and where pieces belong and where they are active and so on, which is I believe part of being a good chess player, that's kind of enough to understand the differences if you get a new starting position. So it might be that if we do this for quite a few more years, we get to repeat some of the positions that might actually matter, that at least the first few moves of a certain position. But for now, I never needed the specific prep for freestyle.
Do you feel that it is all about intuition rather than preparation?
Surely more, yes. I mean, basically, if you get new starting position, you have as many options, but there are very few you can rule out, right? Because you don't have that knowledge of which moves are good and which ones are bad. You don't have a designated center where pieces are going towards, or certain structures that you analyzed at home. Those things don't exist simply. So it's your intuition that basically tells you which direction to go.
One of the questions that I always get to see from your chess fans, that when are you going to change your Instagram profile? It's still a bit older, I feel.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm gonna do that quite soon. I guess it's long overdue.
Do you feel that there is a kind of intimidation that works in the opposition when they play against Carlsen, over the board games?
Yeah, I think it's there. It is a bit different, but I think it gets a little less the more you play him and realize, yes, he's an amazing chess player, but he's also human. He can make mistakes, you can beat him. For me, of course, especially after beating him in an actual match in Weisenhaus, that kind of change things a bit, because before I had lost really a lot to him. So it doesn't make him any less of a great chess player, but of course a big part of that is just the psychology behind it. And I feel like the more you feel that you have chances against him, or that you can beat him if things go your way, that kind of mystery kind of resolves.
In this Grenke Open as well, playing in front of the fans, the chess fan, there must have been some noise coming from the background. Does it disturb you guys so much?
Well, it's of course more noisy than at like elite events usually, but that's kind of part of the whole atmosphere, right? If you have a tournament with nearly 4,000 players, it's impossible to have that same level of silence and everything. I mean, there are spectators, it's a festival in a way, right? So I still felt that at all times I could mostly focus on my game. There was never a critical moment where I felt like it's too noisy so that I can't really concentrate. And yes, it's true, it's a bit different, but we get to experience that atmosphere and that hall and all the fans and spectators coming, so I think that's totally worth it.
And if you tell us a bit about your journey in chess, since Times of India is talking to you for the first time, so our readers would like to know about you a lot more. Like, when did you start, and how has been the growth since then to becoming the German #1?
Yeah, it was kind of specific, I would say, as pretty much everyone's story is. So like, I'm from a musician family, so it's not like chess runs in my family. And I started chess at 5 years old, and basically it was just a kid finding a chessboard and being curious about what it is, as you are. I mean, that's all there was to it. And I annoyed my parents a little until they showed me the rules, and that's kind of, I realized I quite liked that game. And then I started going to the local club, playing a little, watching some chess-based DVDs, and then at some moment playing my first youth tournaments, first in the region, then national, and so on. And it seemed that I did quite well quite early on with relatively little training, so there was the feeling that maybe there was some talent. So I just I continued without too much worry. I think it was actually kind of a very important point, that I never felt like huge pressure to perform or to become like a specific player. Just at that age I was mostly enjoying it, and that was why it went so well. And then around this, let's say at 13 years old, it was not so easy, because I reached 2400 already at 11. But then I was stuck there for quite a while. So then, this Grenke tournament and that whole year was great. I barely missed out on my last GM nom in 2018. So then it took me a full year longer, and I only finished it during 2019 Isle of Man, where I was 14, which of course is still quite young, but in comparison to other top-level juniors of my age, it was quite late. Prag and Nihal, Abdusatorov, they were already 2,630 at that time. And then I believe kind of during COVID is where I managed to catch up. And then during the Grand Swiss in Riga 2021, I became a German.
You mentioned that you are from a musician family. Do you also play some instrument?
I used to, piano, but that's quite a long time ago, sadly. So, for me, it still has quite a meaning to me, but it's just time-wise not doable. You have to know that maybe it's different, but in Germany I still went to school kind of normally while being chess professional. So here you kind of have to go to school. You don't really have a choice. I had some special agreements so that I at least could go for tournaments, but still whenever I'm here I have to go to school, and I have to write my exams and everything. So basically already combining semi-professional chess career with school was quite tough. And then at some moment there was not really enough time left for piano.
And if you tell us about a bit of chess culture in Germany, how is it there? Like, being German #1, how difficult is it for you to continue being German #1?
Well, I mean, now of course Blühbaum had a great run, qualifying for the candidates, reaching 2700 and so on. So I'm liking to see that generally German chess is improving. But if we look at our talents, we do have a few, but nothing that like stands out extraordinarily. So in Germany it's not the same support system for professional chess players as, let's say, in India. So I think for children to say that, okay, that's the path I want to choose, it's possible, but it's not like the path is laid out for you. You really have to fight to make it work. Nowadays, being top 5 in the world, of course, it is, I would say for me, it kind of worked out. But I still, we have a very strong national team. I hope that for next Olympiad we can fight for medals. And but if you look at most of these players, they all went to school. Some of them even have full university degrees, and they barely had professional coaching ever, or at least very little, or mostly in group trainings and so on. So that is kind of, considering that, it's kind of remarkable how strong they got. Because of course I had, help of Peter Lecko since I was 13 years old, which was an amazing support and still is. So
My next question was about Peter Lecko actually. So I listen to him in commentary. He never stops like talking about chess. He's so much into chess. How do you feel taking all the guidance from Peter Lecko? How is he as a coach?
Well, I mean, as you said, he lives chess, that's for sure. Even though nowadays he doesn't play or barely plays, that still, you can feel that this is where his passion is. And of course, especially at the start, it has been great having him there and just, telling me how things work. Like, how do you work on openings? How do you play your first? Because then I qualified for Grenke 2019. How do you play such a strong tournament? And, how do you develop your openings for certain tournaments? And which tournaments do you even choose? And so on. I mean, there are so many questions and so many things you just don't know how to do if no one tells you. And of course, you can figure it out yourself, but that usually means going wrong 10 times till you get it right. So if you have someone that has done it all and been a top 10 player for, 10 years, then of course that helps a lot. I mean, it doesn't mean that everything he did works exactly the same way it does for me, but still it's a very good starting point, and most of the things are extremely useful.
Thanks a lot, Vincent, for joining us, and thanks a lot for giving us your time and insights. It was lovely speaking to you. Thanks a lot for joining.
Sure, thank you very much.